Okay, so hi everybody, and welcome to the immersion event with SAP today. My name's Danielle and I work in the Career Development Center here at St. Joe's. I would like to introduce Luke Gehnen, who's gonna start us off. Luke graduated from St. Joe's in 2013, receiving his degree in economics. He's an account-based marketing lead at SAP, and he's been working for SAP for over 4 years. So welcome, Luke, and feel free to get us started.
Awesome. Thanks, Danielle, and good morning, everyone. Neat to see a lot of people on the line interested in potentially working for a company that we ourselves work for. So it'll be really nice to share with you a lot of the aspects of how we arrived at SAP, some things about SAP, why we enjoy it, and understand we've got an hour. Let's get right into it. Just to outline the agenda here. First, we'll hear from Robin Kuznick, who is our North American Campus Strategy Lead. We'll then move into a young alumni panel, which I'll moderate just to start facilitating a little bit of dialogue. Some open-ended questions to set the table, and then we will move into some Q&A. So please, throughout the course of the next hour here, feel free to submit your questions in the chat function or hold them till that Q&A section pops up at the tail end. But without further ado, let's jump right into it, and I will throw it over to Robin to get us started.
Robin, I think you.
Yep, I was. Hey, everybody. My name is Robin Kuznick. I am with SAP for 10 years now. I am the campus lead for the strategy for North America. So I determine what schools we recruit from, keep a pulse on our hiring successes, and all things student outreach, really, from faculty and staff and student clubs and new grads and everything in between. So I'm pleased to be with you today to be able to introduce you to SAP. I'm going to go off camera and share my screen here so that I can speak to some slides. So just give me 1 minute. And if you can just let me know when you can see my screen.
We can.
My screen is stalling. Are you seeing my deck here?
Yep.
Okay. Perfect. I don't know why. I'm sorry, I want to get a full screen here and it's not loading. Of course, technical difficulties, right?
No worries.
One slides. I guess it doesn't want to show from the beginning. So apologies for that. You'll have to see the slides on the side there. So yeah, just talk about what we do at SAP. A lot of you probably have seen our logo, recognize us because we are a local company. And if you do know what we do, that's awesome. I always love to hear that, but some of you might be wondering. And first of all, it's SAP, not SAP. So I do like to clarify that. A lot of people will say SAP, but it is an English word, but it stands for Systems, Applications, and Products and Data Processing. And at SAP, we help the world run better and improve people's lives. That is really our underlying purpose. But it sounds, kind of out there. So how do we do that? We do that by creating best run businesses. And the thought behind that is that when businesses run their best, we think it has a really profound effect on societies and economies and even the environment. And that's what helps the world run better, and that improves people's lives. So in a business context, best run businesses minimize inefficiencies. They reimagine business models, especially now in the situation we're in, where companies have to shift their business models to stay successful. They create new jobs, and I don't mean new jobs in numbers of jobs, I mean new types of jobs. And all of these create a space for innovation and invention. And that's why over 400,000 customers rely on SAP to help them run at their best. So we are the market leader in business software. We have been helping businesses transform for almost 50 years now. We are the most used ERP software on the market, and our ERP software contains hundreds of fully integrated modules that cover almost every aspect within a business. We have cloud software solutions, and they allow businesses to automate processes, analyze huge amounts of data. And this is how they become best run businesses, so they can make informed and insightful decisions and deliver experiences that customers want and experiences that their employees want. So this slide is just a couple of the 400,000 customers that we have. We're really proud to be trusted by some of these, huge names that you see on this slide. Everywhere from Nike to BMW, small, medium-sized enterprises, Fortune 500s. You probably recognize more than 10 companies on this slide, maybe even more than 20. We're not really a consumer brand, so we're very much behind the scenes, but you're all customers of our customers. And if you think about 400,000 customers and some of the names on this slide, it's easy to understand how 78% of all business transactions in the world run through at least one SAP system. We're the only company globally that can offer true end-to-end solutions, again, that connect all functions of a business in real time. So operations within a business aren't running in separate silos, but they're all coming from the same data point. So when I'm asked, what does SAP do? It's really not one thing that we do. The answer is really pretty simple. We solve business problems, and we help customers reimagine their business models so that they can become those best run businesses. And that looks very different for every one of our 400,000 customers. So our solutions create what we call the intelligent enterprise. Again, we touch all aspects of a business, from enterprise resource planning to manufacturing, human capital management, and everything in between. So what does an intelligent enterprise look like? To be a best run business, they have to be intelligent enterprises. And that means applying advanced technologies like machine learning and IoT and analytics, some of the buzzwords that you hear in tech right now. And they have to have integrated and agile business processes. So most businesses, if you look on the right hand of this slide, most organizations understand what's happening in their business, but do they always know why it's happening? They can run surveys, customers' ratings, they can review products, and employees fill out feedback forms, but that really doesn't give a complete picture. If there's a problem, you know how to solve it, maybe, maybe not. If something great happens, how do you know who's responsible for it? So you know what's happening because you have on the right side systems that capture operational data. It's the customer transactions, your workforce, your supply chain, manufacturing spend, everything that you can see data through reports and dashboards and the like. You can see those trends. You can make predictions on what will happen next. But if you really want to influence what happens next in your business, you need the other half of the picture. And that's the left side. You need the data about the interactions that people have with your products in your business. You need data about their experiences, because the experience data is what captures what they think about your company, their beliefs, their emotions, their perceptions, and their opinion. And essentially, it's the why something is happening. So if you know why something's happening, you can decide how to respond to that. And then in the middle, the intelligent piece, that is how we connect the experience data with the operational data. And that's what guides those business decisions. So you collect insights from customers, from employees, from products, from your brands at every single touch point along the way. And you use those powerful technologies in the middle to automate and integrate data and processes and applications so that you can identify opportunities and risks and trends. And so, our customers take these insights across every aspect of their business, and only SAP has the strategy and the expertise and the solutions to deliver something like this. This is really key in today's market because, again, the operational data tells you what's happening, but in order to keep moving forward with your business, connecting with your customers, makes really insightful strategic decisions, you have to know the why. You have to have the experience piece. And then, of course, making everything smart. The intelligence in the middle is kind of that secret sauce. So we don't operate alone. We don't work in silos. We have really strong partnerships with the companies on this slide. They're basically our cloud partners, and they help our customers hyperscale their businesses so that they can transform and become those best run. So I'll take a pause there and see if anyone has any questions before I go into talking about kind of the company numbers and stats and all that good stuff. Anything in the chat come through?
Nothing in the chat right now, but Feel free to enter your questions into the chat or just unmute yourselves.
Okay. All right, so a little bit about our history. We were founded in 1972, so we're almost 50 years old. We are headquartered in Waldorf, Germany. And since then, we have grown to a workforce of over 100,000 employees. That's globally, and we are in 150 countries. We are recognized as a great place to work. And in 2019, in fact, we won almost 300 employer awards. And we've already chalked up a couple of hundred for 2020 in several categories around innovation and around equality, work-life balance, diversity, and that's just to name a few. Our people really like working at SAP. We have an extremely high retention rate at 93%. That's pretty much unheard of in the tech industry. 5 generations work at SAP, so that's pretty telling of the diversity of thought that we have on our teams. And almost 3/4 of our employees are shareholders. So that really demonstrates a really high level of trust in our leadership. 34% of our workforce are women. And our goal for 2030 is to have 50-50 gender parity at SAP. And our recruiting organizations are already working and moving the needle on that. We have 3,500 differently abled employees through our Autism at Work program. And we've always been focused on diversity in the workplace. We've got a goal to be the most inclusive company in the world because SAP really understands that creativity and innovation, it can only happen when you have different perspectives at the table, different voices at the table. You simply can't have like minds building software for the millions of different users that we have. So, oh, I missed a slide here. There we go. So how we run. This is a little slide about our values at SAP. And a few years back, HR did a survey amongst our employee population and wanted to know, we're helping businesses run at their best. How do our employees run? What are our values? What's our culture like at SAP? And this is how we define it. It's tell it like it is, being honest and professional, staying curious, continuous learning. That is part of our culture at SAP for sure. There's lots of different offerings to keep people learning and developing and growing. Embracing differences, so that's the diversity piece, right? Come with your authentic self, bring everything you are, become everything you want. Be reliable, keep your promises, do what you say you're going to do. Teams work a lot across functions and depend on each other. So this is really, really key to our success. And then building bridges, not silos. So put aside egos, work as a team and cross the aisle, so to speak. If this resonates with you, then SAP may be a really great place for you to consider working. So find yourself at SAP internships. I'm going to start talking about the programs that we have. Internships are very structured in some locations and they're pretty flexible in other locations. So we have a program called IXP. It is 10 weeks long. It is project-based, so you have a deliverable that you are assigned to. It will have impact on the team. It will bring business value. It will be a great experience for you and a great addition for your resume. Again, only 8 locations in the US participate. Last year, this program was virtual, so that opened up a lot more opportunities for students to be able to intern at SAP through this program. What makes it different is it's an experience that we're giving you outside of just that project. You're invited to lunch and learns, power hours, innovation challenges, networking opportunities. You really get some visibility outside of that team that you're working on in all things SAP. The other piece of that is some fun stuff. So they will make sure that you have some fun and laughs along the course of that 10 weeks with some games. It used to be a baseball game, but that's probably not going to happen anytime soon. But they like to keep it fun for you while you're with us during those 10 weeks. Outside of that, the program is pretty flexible. SAP hires 4,000 interns every year across all business functions, especially in Newtown Square, where you all are located, because that's our US headquarters. Lots of opportunities across every business function that I can imagine that I've seen them hire into. They had about 200 interns in Newtown Square last summer alone. And so it's a very healthy program with lots of opportunities. The only difference is if the assignment is not part of IXP, you don't get that extra programming piece, but it will still be a great opportunity for you. I'm pretty sure of that. We've had huge success over the years. Okay, so real world experience. This slide shows you some of the areas, functional areas where we offer interns, operations, corporate functions, M&A, marketing, comms, sales, consulting, development. Again, it's all across the board. The timing is based on when you get out of school and when you need to be back in school. And we often find our interns stay with us into the fall and either work part-time if your schedule allows, or some will work full-time, maybe if you're taking some night classes. If you graduate, you can also still intern at SAP. The grandfather clause, I will say, is as long as you start an internship within 6 months of your graduation, you can be an intern. And that's a great way to find a full-time opportunity if you don't see one posted right after your graduation. You can test the environment, test the waters, test the culture, see if it's a place that you really want to jumpstart your career, and network your way, keep an eye out on postings for full-time opportunities and convert into them as they become available. This slide shows you the IXP program that I was talking about. And it's just the model that it's built on. 70% of what you do in that program is on the job. 20% is that formal development, that extra learning and development that you will be offered. And then 10% is the social acculturation. We call it the fun stuff. And at the bottom, you can see all the different areas that this program hires into: analyst, client development, cloud development, data science, HR, marketing, software, UX design. So again, across all business functions as well. We are looking to have Newtown Square an IXP location. I don't know if that will be summer 2021 or the following summer. And the way you'll know that when you see our job postings is if IXP is in the title, then you know it's part of this program. If not, it's a traditional internship, which again, will still be great. All of our interns, regardless of who you're working for, where you're working and what you're working on, will be assigned a buddy and a mentor to get you started and make sure that your transition to SAP is smooth and you have somebody to go to with all of your questions, issues, and anything you come across along the way. And then in terms of graduate roles, graduate programs and entry-level roles, the difference between those graduate programs are cohort hirings that we do. Some programs hire 2 and 3 times a year, different classes of anywhere between 5 and 20. Others hire once per year with high volumes. And then the entry-level roles, those are simply one-to-one individual contributor roles that we hire into. For new grads, we hire about 3,000 every year globally. So it's a very healthy number. And this year for 2021, our leaders have committed to 50% of all their hiring coming from early talent, which is anywhere from 0 years of experience to 3 years of experience. So we do anticipate having some really great opportunities. They're just starting to release them now, but at the turn of the year is when I anticipate we'll see the bulk of those roles starting to open. So really, I'll send some resources to you all so that you can set up a job alert, get into our recruiting system, get into our talent community, upload a resume so that as those roles start posting, our recruiters can find you and connect you to the opportunities that look like a good match. So a couple of the programs that I'm going to talk about in the next few slides are the cohort hirings. And these are consistently successful. They offer training opportunities. They will give you, again, that buddy, that coaching, this job shadowing. It is great to have people to learn with and people to learn from. And so the first one I'm going to talk about is our North America Services Delivery Academy. It is 3 to 6 months training. Everyone comes out of this at it is industry ready at a different point. So that's why it's anywhere from 3 to 6 months. You are hired as an intern initially, so you do need to have graduated. After the 3 to 6 months, you'll be slated to either a technical quality manager or an associate project manager role. So you don't come into the academy knowing what role you will be assigned to. That's the whole point of the academy, so that they can work with you to see your strengths and your gaps and, you know, where between these two roles you'll fit best. So the technical quality manager is working with our customers. They're basically, you know, familiar with the solution that they're trying to implement, and they're helping resolve any problems that come along the way and remove roadblocks to that implementation. So it's really giving them guidance on that entire transformation journey and making sure that the solution is successful. It's what we promised them. And they're, again, remove those roadblocks along the implementation. Associate project manager, that's exactly what it sounds like. It is project management. You will shadow with the senior project manager. You look at all aspects of those consulting projects from start to finish and everything in between. And it is very Excel heavy from what I understand. So if you're an Excel guru, that might be a really good placement for you. They are now opening recruiting shortly for a July class. So it's almost perfect timing for the June or May or June 2021 grads to take a look at this. And I think in January is when they'll start posting the actual positions on our career site. The other consulting program that we have is called Career Starters. And this could be for someone that is, you know, truly technical or someone on the business side. There's 6 weeks of comprehensive training in Newtown Square. And then you'll do the on-the-job training, the shadowing with an SAP consultant. There's 2 paths that you might find yourself through this program. One is technical, the, you know, implementation person that's going on the client site and tearing down the software and building it back up again. And then on the business side, which would be business process consultant, and that is really blueprinting the new workflows and business process that company's going to go through as a result of implementing an SAP solution. They usually have 2 classes per year, have not gotten any guidance yet about what 2021 looks like. But again, that job alert I talked about, career starters could be a key word. And when this program launches, you'll get a notification. They also have landing page. You'll notice all of these slides have QR codes on the right-hand side. Those will bring you right to the landing pages for these programs on our career site. So if you want to learn more details about them, if they're open for recruiting, there'll be an apply button. If they're not yet open, there'll be a register button where you can enter your information. And when they do launch, we'll notify you and send you the job posting. We also have an Academy for Business Transformation. So we are helping our customers transform to digital, and we need to do the same. We need to implement our own solutions, drink our own champagne, as it's called. And so this is a 12-month program where you'll help SAP implement our solutions and become an intelligent enterprise ourselves. Again, 12-month career program. It's a pretty small program. They only hire a couple of people per year into it. And again, 2021 guidance is just now being discussed. So I anticipate most everything for 2021 will start opening in January. But again, they have a landing page. If this is something that you're interested in, join the talent community, register on the page. And when that program opens, you'll get that notification. There is a program for computer science majors called SVNT. It is 1-year rotational program. You will go through 3 or 4 rotations on 3 or 4 different teams. If there is anyone in a computer science major or the like that's interested in data science, design, or software development, this would be a great way for you to try a couple of different teams and a couple of different technologies within SAP. They are looking for 2021 grads right now, and they will be starting in the fall and in January of 2021. And there is a job posting that's active right now, and I do not believe it's going to be active very much longer. So if you are a CS major or know a CS major that might be interested, please, get in this, throw your hat in the ring, apply as soon as possible. It is located out in the West Coast, so you would need to relocate to Silicon Valley in order to be part of this program. And then finance majors, we have a rotational program for finance majors. It's going to give you experience working in all different aspects of finance. It is a pretty big commitment. It is going to be 4 5-month rotations that you go through, and you'll look at, again, every pillar of finance, field finance, corporate finance, shared services, and how they work within company. And then at the end of the year is when you transition into, that role that resonates best with you. There is an international component to this. You can see the locations at the top. Right now, travel, we don't know what that's going to look like in the near future. You may work with an international team, but stay in the US. If we're able to travel, then you'll physically be in one of those locations, Manila, Singapore, Waldorf, or Prague. So just a quick transition from programs off to kind of careers and what that looks like at SAP. All new grads start at the associate level. That's our early career, early talent, again, up to 3 years of experience. Then you move into a specialist level, a senior specialist. That's when you can start thinking about the next track for you. Do you want to manage people and go down the management path, or do you want to continue to be an expert in your current field? And then up to a senior manager, chief expert. Now you're getting into the executive level. Obviously, everybody advances at different times through each of these different levels, but career pathing is super important at SAP. And when you are ready to look at that next level, we have a career success center that will talk to you about where it is you want to go next, what kind of trainings we offer that can get you there. If you haven't interviewed for a while, they'll do mock interviews. They'll look at your resume and help you with that. So the thought behind that is, everybody's going to want a next challenge at some point, and we want that to be with SAP. We don't want that to be with our competitors. So we offer you support and guidance to help get you there when you're ready. An application process is pretty straightforward. You obviously have to apply to a role. You can apply to as many roles as you want at SAP. There is no limit. And please do apply to many different roles because recruiters do not share resumes across different job postings. So don't assume that if you apply to one job that you might be considered for another one just by having applied to that one position. Take a look at all of the roles. If you match to a pretty high degree, don't think that you can't apply if you don't match every single bullet on that job description. If you're reasonably a match, send in your application. Our managers are really great for looking for that unicorn with 10 different bullets, and it's not realistic in all cases. So look at the top 3, 4, maybe 5, and if that's a match for you, take a chance and apply. Then the screening will take place. A recruiter, if there's a reasonable match, will give you a call. Usually they will schedule a 20 or 30-minute phone screen with you just to make sure that, this is a good match potentially for you. No red flags. Questions that you might have will be answered. And after that point, they will have a resume forwarded to the hiring manager. They'll do an interview or an assessment for some of the roles we have, do online assessments. And the interviews will be either a manager and then the team, or the team and then the manager. We are pretty flexible about how that looks. The manager will guide that. And then you're hired. So 1 or 2 interviews, maybe sometimes 3, depending on the role itself. And then we extend offers. So this QR code that you see with this bit.ly link on the right-hand side is specific to St. Joe's. So if you follow that QR code or launch that bit.ly, it'll bring you to a talent community registration page asking you for just your basic contact information, when you graduate, what functional area you might be interested in. And all of those elements are sortable by recruiters. So if they're looking for a St. Joe grad in a December 2020 grad that's interested in marketing, they'll be able to find you easily. So I would encourage you to upload your resume. Let us know what you're interested in. It could be more than one area that you'll see when the functions are listed. If you're interested in maybe HR and marketing, check them both off. You never know when we have an opportunity in one or both, and you want to make sure that recruiters can find you for either. So that is it for my presentation. Any questions in the chat, or anybody want to come off mute? I'll go ahead and get my camera up, and apologies for the slideshow here looking a little less than ideal.
Thanks so much, Robin. We do have a great question in the chat. So
Sure.
somebody asked, what kind of business problems do you most commonly see when working with a new company?
Well, with 400,000 of them, I really can't answer that question. Yeah, I'm not on the sales side, and maybe one of the panelists here that work with some of our customers may be able to answer that question better than I can because I'm on the recruiting side. So I'm going to have to defer that. And if they're not able to answer, then I will definitely find an answer for you. But it's usually making their businesses run better. Oftentimes it's supply chain, right? How do I make sure that my inventory is where it needs to be when it needs to be, where my customer needs it to be? Sometimes it's HR solutions that they're looking for, cradle to grave, right? Hiring, succession planning, career pathing, recruiting, all of those modules that you see within HR. In contingency labor, it could be. It could be travel and expense issues that they're having, that they need spend management, and that could be through our Concur. All different business problems. Like I said, we touch every aspect of a business. So any element that a company is struggling with, SAP can likely come in and, present a solution for what that business problem is.
Cool. Those are great examples. And real quick, will you be able to provide us with that QR code after the presentation that I can share with the group?
Yeah, absolutely, Danielle. I'll send you the whole deck so that you
Perfect.
can, go through everything in detail. I know I tend to talk fast and run through things, so absolutely.
Cool. That was awesome information. Okay, awesome. So now we're going to pass it over to Luke, who's going to kick off our Young Alumni panel. Thank you again, Robin.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Awesome. Thanks. As somebody who's been here for about 4 to 5 years, I can definitely attest to everything on those slides. Definitely proud to work for this company, and I'm sure that'll come out with our 3 panelists as well. So without further ado, and in the interest of time, I think I might throw it to our panelists to give a little bit of an introduction of themselves and elaborate a bit on what exactly their day-to-day looks like. I'm going to start off with Lindsey Miller, who Robin alluded to innovation challenges as interns, and Lindsay actually bested me in our competition in our internship year. So I will once again pass the baton to you, Lindsay, and if you could just give a little background on yourself, your current role, and we'll move from there.
Sure. And it was all in good fun too, right? We don't hold it against each other. So hi, everyone. My name is Lindsay Miller, and I've been at SAP for a total of almost 6 years, coming in January. And I graduated in 2016 with a major in business intelligence and analytics and a minor in economics. I was part of the Hop School of Business co-op program and was able to secure my second co-op after my junior year at SAP in marketing. My current role is as a business analyst within our global marketing organization. And I guess from a day-to-day perspective, my easiest way to explain what a business analyst does is essentially I see myself as a translator between our data sources and the business stakeholders that I'm supporting. So in this case, marketers. So my day-to-day, I spend a lot of time wrangling large amounts of data and analyzing it to understand how our marketing team is performing. And I would say the most important part of my job is actually being able to then communicate the trends and things that I'm seeing in the data back to our marketing leadership team so that they can make more informed decisions when those times come. I think that's all. I'll leave it at that.
Awesome. Yeah, my most common email to Lindsay is, "What does this mean?" Amazing at getting putting it in layman's terms. Next up, I will pass it to Jackie Halpin from the class of 2017.
Hi, thanks, Luke. It's good seeing everybody. So hi, my name is Jackie Halpin. I am a 2017 graduate from St. Joe's. I was a business major. I majored in marketing, And the way I found SAP was exactly through Lindsay's way as well. I was in the co-op program. SAP was my second term. So I did about 6 to 8 months of interning for SAP. And then I went back to school full time for my senior year. And there were some openings, and I was able to go back to the Newtown Square office, which is about 30 minutes from St. Joe's, and do a couple of interviews. And I got a job shortly after that, and worked at other Hudson Yards office in New York. So that was how I got to SAP. What I do at SAP, I started in North America marketing. I now am on the office of our strategy, brand, and experience team. So I work closely with our leadership. I work with a lot of chiefs of staff and executive assistants, and basically keep their world going round. Lots of stuff going on within the office. So like, for example, we just announced a new golf partnership. So working with the teams to get all the approvals and everything that we needed for that. So it's a lot of different things. Strategy, brand, and experience have a lot of different activities underneath it. So kind of keeping me on my toes for sure. So yeah, I've been at SAP maybe about 3-4 years at this point, including my internship, and having a good time so far. So yeah, that's a little bit about what I do here and how I got here. Now I'll pass to Megan, or Luke, back to you.
Thanks, Jackie. Yeah, I will. I'll pass it back over to Megan, who's from the class of 2016. Megan, if you'd like to describe you a little bit.
Thanks, Luke. So I actually graduated with Lindsay as a business intelligence and analytics. That was one of my majors. I had a dual major also in managing human capital. And I've been at SAP for almost 4 years. I joined as an intern and then went through a rotational program. And I had a connection to SAP actually through my master's. And don't kill me, but I went to Villanova for my master's. St. Joe's is better, I can attest. But yes, I've been in my current role for about 1.5 years after my rotational program that I went through. And I'm an HR business partner. So I support executives and senior level managers in a bunch of different strategic areas for our company. So primarily transformation management, workforce planning and insights, so developing workforce staffing plans, team and organizational development, as well as their people strategy. And my day-to-day looks like a lot of calls around coaching and consulting leaders with whatever's going on in their organization at the time. And we partner on different programs they're running and things like at that level as well. So that's a little bit about me.
Awesome, thanks. So I think if I heard everyone correctly, I think we're 4 for 4 on being co-ops at one point and eventually moving into full-time roles, which is pretty neat. So I'd like to talk now about networking. You know, obviously the co-op program was a great way to get introduced to SAP and ultimately land our jobs here. If the panelists could speak a little bit about how networking played a role, maybe not only in just solidifying your job, but also building your internal professional network. How would you suggest going about doing that? How have you done that? And I think I'll start with Jackie, who has recently been on the move, I think, as a result of some of these topics. So Jackie.
Sure, yeah. So networking, we all know it's super important, but how I went about it. So I just moved into a new role, and I'm working for someone who actually I did a fellowship for, and it's really all about networking. I, knew them maybe 1.5 years ago, worked on a specific project for them, and then, when opportunity arises, like, oh, I remember this person, and you stay in touch. You back in the olden days when they would come into the office, you'd try to catch up with them, see them in the office, try to grab coffee. So it's all about those casual interactions. When I first came to the Hudson Yards office, I didn't know anybody because everyone was in Philly that I knew. So I would ask someone to recommend someone to get coffee. After that coffee date, I'd ask them for 1 to 2 names that I could reach out to again. So that kind of just inspired it. And they always joke that I was like in the lobby or in like the cafeteria meeting someone new like every week. And that was my goal, just so people don't see me in the office and think like, oh, this person doesn't even work out of here. So whoever you meet, ask for another name and keep going from there. And I think I'm a big believer that yes, you can do a lot of great work, but people usually remember how it felt to work with you, not exactly the work that you did. So leaving a good impression whenever you do projects is a big thing that I keep as well. So I guess that's, yeah, how I network. Luke, back to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Jackie. Megan, anything to add on your end coming from the HR side?
Yeah, so I actually took a very similar approach to Jackie, especially when I joined SAP. It was through a professor that I worked for as a graduate assistant in my master's program. And actually that connection was through my co-op program through St. Joe's. Actually, I worked in a contract research organization for about a little bit around a year, and worked with a head of HR, and she connected me to this contact at Villanova who gave me the graduate assistantship as an opportunity, and then who definitely introduced me to SAP as an intern. And I think it's really important to take advantage of opportunities and people you meet, because once you start to realize what you're passionate about, or even what you want to learn, you are building a network through those types of opportunities. And I think it's important to add that as well. I did do the same thing as Jackie when I started at SAP. I tried to set a goal for myself to meet 1 to 2 people a week, because I actually worked and still work out of our Newtown Square office, not right now, but previously did. And so I would try to meet 1 to 2 new people a week from a different part of the business. And where I started was being in HR. I knew I could potentially move into the role I'm in now, and wanted to learn how SAP made money. So I started with people I knew that worked on the sales side to try to really learn from them, ask them about their job, and then move from there. And I created a lot of great real relationships out of it. And I still have those relationships to this day. So definitely great to continue that type of networking.
Awesome. And Lindsay, 2 examples of individuals who once going full time at SAP, always not feeling completely comfortable in just their current role and their current network, but expanding it further and having had the opportunity to go full time. Can you speak a little bit about, okay, I've completed my 5-6 month co-op. I'm back on campus now. How did you stay in touch with the stakeholders that you met during your co-op to ultimately land the full-time role?
Sure. So I actually was fortunate enough to stay on part-time through my senior year. So I was able to keep those connections that I had started to develop during my 6 to 8 month co-op period. So that was definitely beneficial. I think I take a little, just in general, a different approach to networking. I tend to be more on the introverted side. So I think my tactic is a little bit different. I prefer to let my work kind of lead and speak for itself, but I've also found that then opens the door for me to create meaningful relationships with people. And being able, I say a lot of my role is in educating people and helping them to understand and make sense of difficult topics, which are usually data related. So I think forming those genuine relationships was really a key for me in being able to extend part-time, and then ultimately maintaining those relationships over time is what landed me the full-time role after graduation as well.
Cool, very cool. One of the stats that always jumps out to me, and Robin had shared it during her presentation, was we have a 93% retention rate, which I'm sure doesn't surprise any of the panelists based on our experience so far at SAP. So I'd like to ask you all, what do you like most about working for SAP? And also, what do you find challenging? And Megan, would you want to kick us off with that one?
Sure. I think, as you can tell by the retention rate, and you stated that, Luke, that the building these relationships with people at SAP is so important. And I just think that the culture really is something that's unique to me and something that I hadn't heard of at other companies just starting out. And it's the reason that I joined SAP. And Lindsay and I are actually really close friends personally, and she brought me to SAP as well. And she was saying, this company is so unique and the culture is incredible. You really need to look into it. And so I always had that in the back of my mind, and it's just so true. I actually worked and in one of my rotations and wrote a blog post on it because I interviewed a ton of different people at SAP asking them what was keeping them there, because you really don't hear a retention rate of 93 and many other places, especially like Robin said, in the tech industry. So I would say that stands out the most. People are always willing to help you out, want to learn about you, genuinely good people, really hardworking, excellent work ethic. And so I just think it made my experience so much better, knowing that that type of person is everywhere at SAP. In terms of the most challenging, I would say with 100,000 people, obviously that's, to me, the most challenging, is just being able to want to learn everything and knowing that there's that many people in the company. So just being patient with yourself and trying to slowly but surely get through the company and understand internally how to learn more.
Awesome. Lindsay, anything from you, kind of what stands out most about what you enjoy at SAP, and any particular challenge that stands out?
Yeah, I mean, I think Megan highlighted it well. The people and the culture in general is something that has stood out to me. And maybe just to get a little bit more specific, from the time that I was an intern to the time that I was hired as an early talent, I truly felt appreciated by the people that were higher in rank than I was. They were always asking for my input and genuinely, wanted my point of view. And that was something that, and still to this day, stands out to me, that there is that focus on early talents and wanting us to succeed and contribute to the business in meaningful ways. So I think that's definitely something that I look forward to every day. And I guess I would also echo from a challenge standpoint, because it is such a big company, you're always going to feel like you're learning something, which is a good thing as well as a bad thing. There's always more that you feel like you could be doing, or things that you don't understand. So there's a lot of problem solving that goes into the day-to-day, and just kind of navigating your way around such a large organization in general. I think just naturally comes with its challenges, but it always keeps it interesting. I can honestly say in 5 years, I have never been bored in my roles or in what I'm working on, which I think it says a lot about SAP too.
Definitely. Thanks, Lindsay. And Jackie, anything to add from your end?
I'll just echo that you two nailed it. It's the people. I remember when I first came to Newtown Square, Lindsay, you were like, here's where the cafeteria is. Like, you were so nice around the corner. And then Luke was there too. Megan, I'm sure I saw you around, but in marketing, we had a little huddle there. So it was, you guys were super helpful for me, because I was like, oh, this is such a big company. And that's the pro and con that I originally, when I first heard the question, I was like, oh, it's a global company, so it's almost impossible. It is impossible to know every single person, and you can feel lost to be like, who is this person? And what is this project? But on the flip side of that, it's, what do I want to learn about? And you go to your manager and you're like, listen, I want to do a project in XYZ. It most likely exists at SAP in some shape or form. So the global element of it, it's like, I want to learn about, I don't even know, like platform technology. Sure, yeah, there's a project out there. Like, and to Lindsay's point, they're gonna try to keep good talent around, so they will let you work on that stretch project. And that's kind of the pro and con of being at a global company, is you can work on whatever not whatever you like, but there's opportunity to work on some interesting projects. And then the people keep you grounded, and they keep you sane and connected, and keep it a good time. There's an SAP family like environment feeling, I'd say.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with everybody. And talking about the sheer size of the company, and I think Robin touched on it earlier as well, the cross-functional nature of our work. I mean, for context, some of these deals that SAP is doing, selling software to major Fortune 500 companies, are in the tens of millions of dollars, and that doesn't happen just via sales. It's truly a partnership across all functions of our organization to ensure deals of that magnitude ultimately close because they are so granular and detailed and important to the existence of SAP. So I love the ability that we've all had to work cross-functionally and get purviews into other areas of the organization. Okay, I see we've got about 2 minutes. I do want to leave some time for Q&A, so I'll try and rapid fire this last one. But any last words of advice for the students who are interested in ultimately working at SAP? Lindsay, would you mind kicking us off with any top of mind advice?
Yeah, I think something that I think really helped me to stand out was having the technical skills going in. So I can't say enough about the BI program. I'm not sure if we have some BI majors on here, but I definitely felt like when I started my internship, I already had a baseline of, Excel and project management, and those types of skills I didn't need to be taught. So I could jump full steam ahead into learning the business. And I think that is really, it really set me up for success at SAP. And being willing to learn and self-teach to a certain degree, I think also goes a long way because people are so busy. So I think that also is a tip that I would give to anybody.
Awesome. Jackie, anything from you?
I would just say persistence for me. I kept following up and politely following up. So that's the one thing I would say. I mean, respectfully, don't spam them, but persistence was always something I would recommend.
Awesome. And Megan, parting words?
Yeah, sure. So I would say try to learn and keep that learning mentality as you're going through interviews or trying to understand SAP, learn about the industry, learn about how SAP makes money, take time to get to know the company, a couple of different people. Everyone always wants to help you out. Lindsay, to your point, BI was so crucial, I think, in my experience anyway. And then I would just like to leave you with, make sure that you can kind of deliver how you can add value to a company, any company you're interviewing, and also what you would like to take away and learn as well. So just being able to give that direct feedback and directly back to who you're speaking with.
Awesome. Danielle, I will open it up to you if you want to facilitate any Q&A.
Perfect. Thanks for all that great advice. So there is a question in the chat, and any of you guys can take this. For a person that wants to create a startup, do you think getting the chance to work with SAP first would help give you the knowledge to run the company as efficiently as possible?
So I can take a first pass at that. I mean, I definitely think working at SAP would give you really a wide breadth of the different types of company challenges that you see. Like Rambin was mentioning, our customers span so many different industries and parts of the world that I think working at a company like SAP that has that breadth is really going to give you a lot of good insight into potential challenges that you yourself could run into when creating a startup, and could help you to avoid them if you're seeing how other companies are encountering those types of problems. So I would definitely say so.
Thanks, Lindsay.
Can I just add to that? This is Robin.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I'm gonna turn my camera off. We have a video, and I'll share the link in the chat here that might give some good insight into SAP. This whole bring it everything you are, become everything you want. And one of the employees that's highlighted on there, his name is David, and he's a professional weightlifter, and he also runs his own business. It's called Artsys, I think. And he says right on there that working at SAP has given him a lot of the skills to be able to launch his business. And so thank you for the question, because that's something that is very much supported at SAP. We have intrapreneurial programs as well. So we want our employees to take SAP technology and build something. And hopefully it's something that will actually be a real product someday. And did I see SAP.io? Yeah, thank you for putting that in there, Luke, because that is a great arm of SAP so that keep innovating. We are always innovating. It's not just about what SAP is building, but what can our employees build as well? And SAP has funding that they will give to make that product real. So thanks for the question. If you want to be an entrepreneur and own your own business someday, this is a great place to get some skills. So thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Robin.
Yeah.
Any other questions before for any of the panelists or Robin before we wrap things up? All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed hearing from our panelists, learning a little bit more about their experience at SAP. I just want to thank each of them again for their time and the expertise they've shared. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us.